Welcome to Healing Through Dentistry podcast,
where we redefine health, wellness, and the power of your smile.
We're your hosts,
Hanna
and Eva, twin sisters, qualified dentists and medical doctors.
This is more than a dental podcast.
It's a journey into profound connection between oral health and whole body healing.
Through personal stories, inspiring client transformations, and expert insights,
we explore how dentistry can ignite energy, relieve chronic pain, and transform lives.
Get ready to discover the extraordinary ways your smile can heal, inside and out.
Let's begin. Welcome to the next episode. We're going to be talking about toothpaste.
Yes.
The most favorite questions you ever get asked. This is the one, toothpaste. Which toothpaste and why?
So last episode we were mentioning and saying that toothpaste is not really necessary to be used. But culturally, we all like something on our toothbrushes to brush with. So what do we recommend and why? We definitely recommend no fluoride toothpastes.
The fluoride is neurotoxic, and I like to notice to all our guests that it's kind of holding back from your intuition because the fluoride calcifies in your pineal gland, and that's the organ which is sort of taking you and connecting you to divine. So
some cultures used to call pineal gland as a third eye. So seat of the spirit, seat of the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was surprised, Eva, and what we've noticed when we did retreats with Dr. Joe Dispenza, maybe some of you have heard his name before. Dr. Joe Dispenza is a neurologist who bridges science and spirituality, in my words. And one of his slides years ago we saw on Instagram was with fluoride and pineal gland. And we're like, wow, he is a good guy. He knows about fluoride.
Oh yeah, it's part of our story. So I would say like 8 years ago, he used to have a Instagram live and he was talking about pineal gland and how neurologists and radiologists actually use pineal gland as an indicating point in your brain because it calcifies the most and it's the most sensitive for the calcium because it's basically toothpaste, it's calcium fluoride, and that's not natural for our body, this combination. So that was fascinating, and we love Dr. Joe Dispenza. We should be recording an episode only about his work because he changed our lives. We've been with him for past 3 years every day.
Doing the meditations.
So
I've done several retreats as well. But what I was thinking about when you were mentioning radiologists and why they see it, you didn't say why. So why is it so easy for them to see it on x-rays? Because of the calcification. Obviously I have a different color. I know that you know, but just for the listeners, it is on your MRI, magnetic resonance, or X-ray, you actually see the white color in the middle of your brain. And that's what he was pointing out. Wow, that is interesting. Like, why so many people do have calcification, in the pineal gland. And Eva and me, one stage, we were like, isn't it almost like a conspiration? Is there someone who, like years and years ago, who came up with this theory of fluoride being, the best helper in our teeth health? Was it a conspiracy? Did they all want to just shut us down, not being able to, live our, lives we are here to serve? So it's interesting. It is fascinating. It is fascinating.
And I add to that the fact that when it's calcified, there is a way back. You basically meditate and all the calcification is breaking down.
Yes. So Joe Dispenza is teaching more than one meditation technique, and especially his breathing technique is very powerful because, the breathing technique, meditation helps you to also remove the calcification from your pineal gland. So I always laugh when he is talking about that because there are a lot of people, you see it in the room, a lot of people kind of, I have been using fluoride toothpaste for years. What do I do now? And yeah, just relax. Ideally, stop using it because you don't want to add more fluoride in your pineal gland. And maybe look up to Dispenza meditations and start to do that, because that's definitely a great source to, find out more. Maybe we can just touch on a few stories just to let you know there are people with stage 4 cancers healing in no time, literally. There are people with autoimmune disease, people with diagnosed infertility and things like that, and they're just going out from the retreats or few years after, the meditation techniques, practicing healthy as ever.
Yes, and huge things are happening as well because the body is powerful. We've seen thyroid glands growing back. They were removed by surgery before. So they're a huge success. The body has the power to heal beautifully.
Or remember the story with even Joe Dispenza was surprised the growth of a thyroid gland, but also the colon as well. Yeah. So your intestines, there was a lady who grew a new intestine after operation, like 9 centimeters or 12 centimeters. I can't remember. Who would be, because we can talk like this should be a extra episode about Joe Dispenza, his teachings and our, experience with him. But who would like to know more, I definitely recommend his new documentary called The Source. It's amazing. It does take you to the retreats, and it does take you to people just like you with stories and healing stories. It's incredible. And then what book would you recommend about? Because I know you love them all. What book is your favorite? What would you recommend? And we actually recommend it on our website as well.
Yes, my favorite is Breaking the habit of being yourself. That's the one.
That's
Breaking the habit of being yourself. That's the cookbook for what to do.
That's the name.
What to expect
in English. Yes. So Joe Dispenza,
life-changing.
Amazing.
Okay, so that's why not fluoride. So fluoride, neurotoxic. We don't want to add more to our body because basically fluoride is an element, just a very trace of amount in our body, and we do not need to add more. So we do recommend fluoride-free toothpaste. Me personally, I love seeing results with toothpaste based on salt, toothpaste with herbs, because to be honest, all the pharmacological companies, they try to imitate these herbs and they try to do the herbs in chemical way. So we're coming back to basis and we see huge results with toothpaste based on salt. Why salt?
Yeah, salt is alkaline, and what it does is that it neutralizes the acidic environment what you have in your mouth. So I always like to say to our guests, to smile, it's like going to the seaside, because we're coming from the Czech Republic, we're landlocked, and a lot of people do obviously love to go by the ocean, by the sea for the holidays. And I always explain to them or let them think about their time there, because we all know when we go the sea by the ocean and we spend a couple of weeks or a week on holiday, how the seawater, the salt in the water is healing. Like it helps with our skin conditions, with our breathing.
And the power is within 3 days, within 2 days, the air full of salt. It's beautiful. So that's what's happening in your mouth really very quickly.
And my prescriptions, people always laugh because I'm like, when you're swimming in the water, in the sea, just open your mouth, but like put a little bit of seawater in your mouth and gurgle, because that's what you just really treating your gums and your mouth and your teeth like very well.
Yeah, so it's about microbiome and it starts in your mouth. So we're trying to develop alkaline background. It's same way if you eat lots of vegetable, the microbiome is nicely balancing in your gut, in your intestines. So that's the same thing. So ideally, we would like to create, or the ideal situation is to create a balance in between bacteria, because we all are bacteria. And if there is somebody who uses mouthwashes out there, we do not recommend them because they really only destroy the bacteria. But all of them, and we see the side effects of that. You're basically killing all the microbiome in your mouth, and it starts there. So ideally, use no mouthwashes. You can rinse with salt water, basically a glass of water and a teaspoon of salt, and rinse.
Exactly, and it's cheap. It is available every time
and to everybody.
So if mouthwash, I probably add like sea salt based, or sometimes we do recommend mouthwash based on peroxide, which is again oxygen and
very mild,
very mild. And yeah, toothpaste, like Eva said, less ingredients it has, better for all of us. So I tend to say to our guests, like, have a look on a box, what it does say, and less of it is always better. So all the, SLS and all the chemicals which are actually being added to the toothpaste in terms of, so we get more bubbly effect, or we get more, flavor.
Yes. And I like when you say, Hanna, that if you read the package and if you don't understand the word, that's not the toothpaste for you. Yeah. So that's kind of the gold rule.
Yeah.
Also, moms and dads, parents are asking what toothpaste for children. We use the same toothpaste for children. We recommend herbal toothpaste. Kids, they like a little bit of flavor, or you can add a little bit of salt toothpaste towards the toothpaste the child is using. So for instance, half, and the size would be a pea size. So a little tiny bit of toothpaste. We're talking about it, but there is the major work you do it with your brush. It's a mechanical removal of plaque, which is formed by the bacteria.
Yeah, I like, Eva, that you mentioned our trick, how to get into a like a salty based toothpaste, because it might be quite...
Or any other toothpaste, because that's the marketing, that's the neural wiring. Because if you used menthol or mint toothpaste for years, which is fluoride, from biggest brands, which I used some time ago, years ago, and the big brands, they are coming to your clinics and they leave the samples there. So you basically wire your brain towards one taste. And this is also in 50s when the mint started to be in a toothpaste. And it's just the research revealed that it's just what you used to. So you used to the flavor. So it's the trick.
I would say that exactly, that's the trick. 3 weeks.
The trick is to put half on your toothbrush, and you will slowly just be having the toothpaste, the new toothpaste, which is herbal or salt based.
Yeah. So what I wanted to finish before you jumped in, I was just compassionate for all of us who have never had salt-based toothpaste, because it is salty. So that's like Eva now broadly explained. It is all about getting used to. The rule of the thumb is 3 weeks, 21 days for any habit to kind of enwire in our, neural pathways and in our, habits. And so the trick of having half of a toothpaste, your old toothpaste even, and adding a little bit of that salt-based one, and then slowly switching to the side that you've got more salt-based one, that was doing a trick for me. So we now pass it over to others. And yes, so like you said, toothpaste, it's not the key, even for our teeth. Like we tend to believe, or we, all the marketing and TV promotions do try to teach us that it is about toothpaste, and your teeth are going to be healthy, but it's not about toothpaste at all. I think that has got a position number, I don't know, 53. It's not, I'm joking, it's not the top 3. The top 3 is really, like Eva said, nutrition. So whatever you put in your mouth, that really matters.
Emotions
and supplementation. So because we do know that in these days, again, we're not living 100 years ago when the soil was very rich on minerals and nutrients, and the rivers used to be more clean and the rain was okay. But we're living now, and so we know that it is important to supplement. And what are the most important supplements for teeth, Eva? Like we've got this free
Well,
top ones.
Yeah, I like the big five actually because it's D3, K2 in combination, ideally, then magnesium and vitamin C and omega-3.
That's right. So for the teeth, a lot of people know that vitamin D, specifically D3, is the key. But what are they not aware of? That this D3 needs to be with his or her friends, and that's K2 and magnesium, because D can be only absorbed in your cell if they do have K2 and magnesium to help. And then obviously vitamin C is amazing for anything and everything, and omegas as well, omega-3.
Yeah, it's the C I like for the gum health actually, and collagen. So collagen. So yeah, it's the nutrients are the key, but also maybe we could talk a little bit about emotions, because you would have everything under control and you will still tell me, okay, but I had a new decay. I was at the dentist the other day. So also emotions are essential to think about, because if we are in fear or in grief or in anger, we would have acidity in whole body, which means that acidic is everything. It's not that we would use alkaline vegetable or alkaline toothpaste and we would be free. So it's also look into our health and our body in a complex way. So how we think, how we feel, and what we do.
Exactly, and how we act. Stress, basically, right? So what Eva was talking about, emotions, but also like one word could be stress. And it doesn't really matter if it is stress caused by emotions or stress, physical stress that you do have certain, disease, or you were told you do, because it all at the end does the same reaction in our body, which is
the acidity. And I would add one more S before we finish. And the big S is also sportsman, people who does lots of sports. On professional level, semi-professional level, we have lots of clients, guests who are sportsmen, and they really have to care about supplementation, because sport is like stress. It stresses the body. The calcium is taken
in a good way sometimes.
In a good way, but the minerals and nutrients are taken from the bones and teeth. And we do see very soft tissues, tooth tissues. The hard tissues are not that hard as they should be. They should be like a rock. And they are as a rock if we have good nutrients and good beliefs as well.
That's right. And maybe let's just mention a few client stories, because now we're talking about the sportsmen. So I thought maybe it is quite nice to mention some. So I always think of my client, who's a very young lady who used to do 800 meters professionally. So since early age, she was running and running and running and running
Which
and
is
running.
The longest short distance.
Yeah, very hard.
Sprint.
Remember Eva, we used to do that at school.
Yeah, 240. I don't know.
I know. She's probably somewhere under 2 minutes. Yeah. Well, maybe I'm mixing it up. I don't. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, 800 meters is 2 laps for people who don't know. So 2 laps on the stadium. It might seem it is not many, but you are actually sprinting it. Why am I saying it is that this young lady has had very many decays. And when we were working on restoring them, I did feel how brittle and how soft her enamel and her tooth structure or teeth structure was. So of course that I started the conversation about vitamins and supplements and stress levels, because this is all what needs to be looked at. So luckily, she said, past 3 years, she started to be aware of this. She has had not supplemented herself from like early age, because she didn't know what she knows now. But now past 3 years, she does. We do recommend a protocol. It's called the bone healing protocol. You can look up on our website, or we can send you information about that. And it does not only consist of high doses of vitamin D3, of course, K2, magnesium, vitamin C, but also it is very powerful because it does contain amino acids and protein. This is something what most people do forget about. they do think about micronutrients, but they do kind of leave behind the macronutrients, which proteins certainly are. And they are the basis of all, enzymes and hormones and, regulative procedures in our body. So I like that protein is in the protocol. The protein also contains probiotics and prebiotics, which are very important in terms of teeth health as well. Again, Eva was talking about the microbiome, the oral microbiome, which is basically your gut microbiome because everything's interconnected. And lactobacillus and, probiotics, prebiotics are very, very good for us for a restoration of our good bacteria in our mouths. So that was one example. And the second example, I always think of the young veterinary student we've both seen, who has had many decays all the time. And we were quite sad about that, why she keeps coming. It's like we felt it like a failure almost, right? And then we knew why, Eva?
It was the stress. So we have sport as stressor, and S for stress. And that's how, the kidneys are weakened. The body is in high demand of calcium, which is taken through, the easiest for the body is to take it from teeth and bones. So it becomes brittle on your bones. You don't see that for a long time until the fracture, but for teeth, it's very quickly. So this client, she was very stressed whilst the studies, and, you have to look at the mental health with these clients and, kind of mentor them, 3 hours.
Motivate them.
Motivate them. 3 hours, you have study time, then you have 45 minutes, you do anything, dance, go outside. So we used to be, studying for 9 years because we studied general medicine and dentistry. So we can imagine
how frustrating sometimes it is, and how time consuming it can be, because you can never know everything. You can never be prepared 100%. That's non-existing. And so we do have compassion to our, students of medicine and veterinary medicine.
The key is to know that everything is so complex and it's not just the brushing behind it. So the brushing, the toothpaste, we would place on a third place. The first place would be emotions. The second place would be supplementation. And the third one would be prevention, which is brushing, flossing, and using tongue scraper. And I think that would be all for this episode. We're looking forward to talking in the next episode.
Take care, and remember, the best healer is within each of us.
Thank you for joining us on Healing Through Dentistry podcast. We hope today's conversation has inspired you to see your smile as the gateway to whole body well-being.
To stay connected, visit us on our website or follow us on social media.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could benefit.
Until next time, remember, healing starts with a smile.
Take care,
and we will see you in the next episode.